Hi, and welcome to the BookishStitcher podcast. My name is Jeanette. You can find me on Ravelry, Instagram, and Goodreads as BookishStitcher, all one word. I hope you've had a great week since I last podcasted. Had a fun and busy weekend. On Friday night, I actually went and worked for my son's school. He goes to a private school, and they have pre-K through 12th grade, and the high school girls were having a basketball game, and they needed help with keeping books, keeping score, stuff like that for the game, and you have to do a certain number of volunteer hours for the school. So I went and I worked the game, and I foolishly brought my knitting because I thought, I'll have all this free time. No. I had to keep track of the score, who scored what. If they attempted a three-pointer, I had to keep track of it. I had to keep track of fouls, who was it fouled by, what number of fouls, all this basketball stuff. And I played basketball in high school, and so I remembered all the terminology, but there was a lot to keep track of, and it was fun. I got a lot more into it than I thought I would. I was like, go! Our team was a bit of the underdogs. The other team had 10 girls on it, and my son's school, he didn't come because he's just in 3rd grade, so he's not into basketball. So it was just me. But the team from my son's school only had 5 girls that had gone out for basketball, so it was they were pretty tired by the end of the game. And then Saturday night, I had knit night, and I got to go to my local knit night and see my friends, and it was a lot of fun. Sitting and knitting with them and talking. Some of them I hadn't gotten to see for a while, but I'm going to show you my knitting now. So let's see. First thing, this was perseverance at its hardest. I decided that this was going to be my finished object for the week, and then it almost didn't happen because it felt like I had my husband count and check because I thought that there was surely 800 and something stitches on the needles because it just felt like a million stitches, and those rows were taking forever. And my husband counted because I was like, no, there's got to be this many, and I was wrong. There was not even near 800. There was definitely a lot, but it was not near 800. And I was joking at knit night too. I didn't bring this to knit night because it's too big, but when you're done with something and you just want it to be over, I knit even slower. You think you could knit quickly and then it would be done, but I knit even slower because I was like, oh. So I was reading through the shawl chatter thread this week, and I know I am in solidarity with a lot of the other knitters who are slogging through those last few rows on a very big shawl, so hang in there, you can do it. I feel your pain. But so, the finished object, which I like, is my The Secret of Change shawl. I've even blocked the name from my mind, this whole project. I'm just like, but it's out of some Yarn Carnival, which is a skein I got from the Tinsmith's Wife, which is a not very local but drivable distance away yarn store. And this thing is huge. So, it still needs to be one. It starts over here, and then it goes all the way there, and then all the way over there. So it's kind of a unique shape, as you can see. This is this. And it needed, so at the beginning of the week, I weighed it, and then I did the math to see how many yards I still had to knit, because I used up every single bit except for a couple inches of this yarn. So at the beginning of the week, I weighed the ball. I still had almost 600 yards to knit on this, and I persevered. Because the rows at the bottom, you can't even see. It's like a TikTok seesaw. It's like a seesaw. Whoop! But they get so big. But let me show you an up close of this yarn because it's very pretty. It is grays with pops, flecks of purple throughout it. I enjoyed the shawl. The last few rows were challenging, just because I think that I was ready to be done. And then some other things that I have. I want to show you guys some other things that I have that will be going to the Russian Orphanage, and I have more to talk about that in group news. I'm going to show you what I have. So I have done a little baby hat. This is out of Peace Fleece. This, like the sport weight, fingering weight of Peace Fleece. This is one thing I love about Peace Fleece, is it looks like green from far away. But then as I come closer, you can see all the flecks of different colors in there. And I just love that about Peace Fleece. This one hat, a second hat with a little pom-pom, and see these little flecks of white. Just using up scraps. So it's a little bit larger. And then the last thing is a little baby jacket. This is worsted weight, so worsted weight goes a lot faster than fingering. And it's just a random top-down made-up pattern. I just kind of did it as I went, because if you've done a lot of top-down sweaters, you know how to form how much you should do and kind of just gauge. I eyeballed it, and then I just added in some of these garter ridges occasionally just for interest. Another one out of Peace Fleece. You see it looks kind of greenish brown from far away, and then up close you can see cat hair. And then flecks, it's actually like greens and pinks. Very pretty. This has not had its bath yet, it still needs bathe, so it'll soften up. And you can see behind me, I've decorated for Valentine's Day. We're not big Valentine's Day people, but I enjoy decorating for different holidays. It's fun to me. I'm drinking some chai in a cup that my husband gave me. I guess you're supposed to hold it like this because you're supposed to be fancy. Not fancy, but actually feels kind of awkward to hold it like that. But I am wearing today my Star Shower cowl, which also, if you're going to be in the Old West and be a bandit of this function. But this is just something that I wear so much because you don't have to worry about it falling off. You just throw it on. It looks great. I wear a lot of gray. I like to wear basic colors and then have pops of color in my knitting. So I wear this a lot, and I want to knit all this designer, I can't remember her name, all this designer's patterns just because they look so beautiful. And then on my head, I'll take my head off so you can see. I'll put it back on in a second. But this is the Cablelicious hat by Circe Bouclé. And she gifted this pattern to me a little while ago, and I knit it up. And I absolutely love it and wear it all the time. And I just put it back on. Okay, but yeah, this is what I'm wearing. So, and this is out of some birch tree yarns, and this is out of some another crafty girl. And so on to what, and these weren't knit this week. These are just FOs from long ago that I'm wearing. I show you what I knit on this week. I did knit on my husband's sweater. Meh. A lot of it's back there. And I've decided on that because it's pretty boring to just show, oh, this and this, that I'm going to show you when I get to major turning points. Like I finished the body. I finished the sleeves. I finished the yoke. So, fiber in my mouth. And here in my Bling Your String bag, let me see, there you go, are my mom's socks. And she tried them on and they fit. I'm ready for the toe though. And which is a good thing because I might run out of yarn. My mom wears a size 11, so that's why they look pretty long. But she wears a size 11 shoe. And they're nice and loose, just how she likes them, so they're gonna be great house socks. And I did since these are the Hermione's Everyday pattern, and I just did a traditional heel flap and gusset. I didn't do I think it's Eye of the Partridge heel or something, whatever it calls for. But this is what they're looking like. And I'm using my Knitter's Pride carbons. This is how much I have left. So I am squarely, that's the middle part right there. So I have just that tiny little bit in which I need to knit the toe. And then if I can get that done, then I should have enough for the rest of the sock. Hopefully. If not, I don't think it would look terrible to have a different yarn mixed in with the toe for the other one, but I have my fingers crossed. I've never actually used up all the yarn on a project, so that would be a first for me. On socks, not on project, on socks. Then the next thing is in my Apana Corgi bag. And if you are knitting the Susanna I See Winter Mystery Shawl Cal and don't want to be spoiled, look away. So in here I have the shawl, and I am knitting it out of some Knitty and Color. And last week, so she releases the clues for these. The clue 3 was just released yesterday. She releases the clues on Saturday. And weekends are very busy for me. We always have several events going on. So I don't normally get to just sit down on Saturday and do the entire clue. But so last time you saw, I was still in the middle of clue 2. I just barely gotten any green done, any color transitions, so just a tiny bit. And I finished clue 2, and I have started clue 3, which is a beginning lace part. So you can see just a couple rows into clue 3. This yarn is lovely to work with and very soft. And I'm hoping, as I did last week when the podcast was uploading, I finished clue 2, so I'm hoping while the podcast is uploading this week, I will finish clue 3. And then the last thing I have is something new I started. My husband has decided, I think I told you guys, that he wants every single pair of socks that he has to be hand knit because he just loves them so much. And he definitely wears them a lot. Sometimes he loses, sometimes the sock monster comes and steals one of the socks, but so I'm working on knitting him up some more. He has 5 to 7 pairs of his own socks. I'm working on getting him some more. Knit up. So I've been stash diving and seeing what colors I have that could work for a guy that he would be okay with. And this actually helps me too with my goal of, by the end of 2016, having no yarns in my stash that are more than 2 years old, because this is an older skein. I'm using it up. So this is some, I see a tag, Twisted Limon, and the color is Northern Sky. This is being housed in, I believe this bag is it doesn't have a label anywhere on it. I believe it's a Doctor Who bag, as you can see. And it has a lovely window here so you can see what your project is inside. But I believe it's a 3 Monkey Stitch and Spin. I got it at one of the first festivals I went to years ago. And this yarn, it's so amazing. Because a lot of times self-striping, it's, you know, it's in a tight compact ball, but this, it came like this. I didn't wind this. Because when I wind my balls, because I always wind them into this kind of thing, mine are not this squishy. I don't know how she gets them this squishy. Hers are the only ones I've seen that are just so squishy. And these are great colors. My husband definitely said that he will wear this. And so I'm starting, I got the toe done, I got most of the foot done. I'm starting my gusset. I do it's a cat boardy from the new Pathways sock book. It's like the riverbed gusset, I believe, but it forms a V along the arch of your foot. It's really nice. I do that on all my socks, and then I'll get up to the heel and do a fish lips kiss heel. But yeah, I do that on all of my self-striping socks. So see, you can see what project is in there. It's great. And that is all that I am currently knitting on, though I do have upstairs several yarns in their project bags ready to go, because I think that I'm going to have another cast-on fun, crazy time this next upcoming week, because I have a lot of patterns that have been gifted to me that I really have been wanting to knit, and I have the yarn for it, so why not? And I have this funny idea in my head that I will every day cast on a new project and work on that project on that day. So Monday will be the Because I Love You shawl. Tuesday will be Valentine's Day socks day and stuff like that. I don't know if I'll actually do it, but I think it would be fun to cast on one and then just see how far you could get in a day, which won't be very far, but as long as they're done by the end of February, I'm cool with that. So that is all knitting. I have been doing a ton of spinning this week, and I really thought that I would have my spinning done, but the last ounce has been the current braid that not braid, it's a center pull bump, has been giving me a lot of struggles. It's been having a lot of neps and floofy bits. We'll just call it floofy bits that I've been having to stop, kind of tear it apart to make it look better. So it's been giving me struggles, and I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see kind of on that. It looks like my finger's really bruised. The dye was just covering my hand. I've scrubbed a lot with like my I have a soap that has little bits of almonds in it, and I've scrubbed a lot with that to try to get all the dye off, but it's still not. But it was super red. It looked like my hand was like had blood on it. And it's funny because the yarn or the fiber isn't even red. It's just a very deep, dusky rosish pink, but that will be done definitely by next week, and it's going to be single. So if any of you have, it is singles. I'm going to keep it in its singles form. If any of you are expert at how to full singles and know something that's not like common knowledge, because I know all the stuff that I can find just through simple research online, but if you know some trick that you have that's a secret that you wouldn't mind sharing, I would love to know, because I am going to try to full it this next week, finish spinning, full it, and then I will have some actual hand spun to show you, because I've been talking about spinning, like, oh, I'm spinning, but that means nothing if it's a video podcast. If I can't show it to you, there's not much to, but I wanted to show you my next spin because I'm planning on starting it this week, and that is this is another one from my Spin the Bin, Nerd Girl Yarns, and it is the colorway the Sublime Indigo, and it's 100% superwash BFL 4 ounces. And I am doing this as part of something really fun. Serafina on Ravelry, who does the Bling Your String bags, she messaged me and said about doing like a hand spun swap where I spin some hand spun and give it to her, and then she can knit something with it, and then she spins some and gives it to me and I'll knit something with it. So she said she's probably going to do a hat with this. And I'm a little bit nervous. I really want it to be like my best spinning ever, because it's being, you know, a swap with someone. I really want it to be great. So it's beautiful colors. I sent her a picture. I put a picture on Instagram with a whole bunch of different colors and asked her which one of these would you like, and she picked this one. So I don't know if you can see. There you go. There's the label. So that is all for spinning. Now on to, let's do, what do I normally do? Group news, I think. Yeah, okay. So there's a lot going on in the group right now, and I didn't talk about it all last week just because I was so exhausted and everything, but I've been feeling so much better this week, enough so that I've been dipping my hand in everything, knitting, spinning. I may have finished 4 or 5 books this week. Not all of them were started and finished this week, but I've been on a major reading kick, so I've been just doing everything because it's that you feel better, so you just want to do all the things. And so I didn't mention all this group stuff last week, but I want to mention it this week since I'm feeling better. In the group right now, we have going on our shawl cal, and that started at the beginning of January, and it will run through the end of March. And we're doing this with some awesome and lovely ladies, Heidi from Undead Yarn, Andy from Andre Sue Knits, and then Talia and Marcia, I'm going to get that wrong, I'm so sorry, from Pinhook and Needles. And sorry, I need to make sure I can pronounce the name right. But so that goes on till the end of March. WIPs are accepted. If you have a shawl that you still have a lot to knit on and that has been languishing, definitely get it knit up and enter it, and you can knit as many shawls as you possibly can. I know there's a beautiful finished object thread, and you can go and see those, and there's some people that have already gotten several shawls knit up, and they are all beautiful. I've been clicking love buttons, and it's very inspiring to see all those. And the prize that we have for that is 3 skeins of yarn. This is the big grand prize for the FO thread. It's 3 skeins of yarn and then a bag by Bags by Awesome Granny, and I will show all that. She and I have been messaging a little bit, or texting a little bit, and I'll show you all that when it comes in so you can see. Her bags are gorgeous and wonderful. I have one right back there, and the shawl that I finished was in one. And then another prize, there's going to be a prize for the chatter thread, and I'll show all that when probably maybe toward the middle or end of February, so you can kind of see. And I will post pictures when I get everything into the thread at the top so you can see the prize all up there. And then also in the group, Yinny Knit started up a thread for the case of Jeanette's traveling socks, and so you can go up there and post what travel project you have, where it goes, and it's been a fun thread. My friend Jennifer, Ironical Knitter, she has some amazing pictures in there of her travel sock that goes to all kinds of great places. It's so fun to see her. She has a hashtag of that on Instagram, and it's so fun to see that because my sock goes all kinds of interesting places, but I forget to take pictures of it. So my sock, his life is not as, it's not as photographed. Her socks, she's got the paparazzi. Her socks have the paparazzi on them. But I love seeing her pictures, and other people have posted and talked about what they take along. So yes, please go ahead and go post in that and take pictures and show us. It's going to be a fun thread. I'm excited to see. I also take hats along sometimes too if they're simple. This is a cable. I love cabled hats, as you guys know. They're one of my favorite things to knit. But if it's just a simple hat, like a sockhead hat, that's one of my favorite take along for traveling, especially projects. And then also in the group right now, and I'll be talking about for the book this week, we have our read-along going, and it's all year, and there's a different short story, so it'll be easy reading every month. And this month we read by Edgar Allan Poe, The Murders on Rue Morgue, and it was really good. It was about an hour and a half listen. I listened on Liverbox, and I will be reviewing that in the book section of the podcast. But the short story for next time is funny because Amy, who is Knit Theory, and she's hosting this with me. She does the Knit Theory podcast. And the actual, I think the year-long thing was suggested by Yarn Poetry that we should do a kind of a year-long short story thing. And so they were talking about, okay, what story should we do for February? And Amy said, okay, Jeanette, you pick. And I'm terrible at picking. And so I had asked my husband, and I told him the different choices that Amy had listed off because she wants to go kind of chronologically. And I mentioned Silver Blazes by Sherlock Holmes. And my husband was like, read that one. That one's a great one. So it has the seal of approval, and we have the entire Sherlock Holmes collection. So I'm excited to read that next, or maybe listen to it. I enjoy listening to the short stories and spinning. But that will be the next one for February. And Brenda, A Good Yarn, has been amazing putting up the threads for this. So thank you so much, Brenda. She's put some questions up for the Murders on Rue Morgue. And you can go over there and answer her questions because there's some really good ones. I plan to answer those later today, Brenda. I'm so sorry I have not answered them earlier because I know that she put a lot of thought into that and a lot of effort. And I really appreciate you doing all that, Brenda. So I think that is everything for all the stuff that going on in the group. I believe that's right. If I forgot anything, I'll put it in the thread under this episode. But, oh yes! Good thing I had something right in front of my face to remind me. Oh my gosh. I swear, my brain sometimes is just so scattered. But the Russian Orphanage knitting stuff, that we're doing, and anybody who wants to can contribute, knitting up stuff for Russian Orphanage. And my father-in-law's college, he's a professor, he's an organic chemistry professor at a college up in Indiana, and they are going in the beginning of March, I believe, or beginning mid-March, somewhere in there, to Russia, and they're going to go to different orphanages, and they have suitcases that they can have need to be filled with things to give at the orphanages of knitwear. And so I was like, yes, answer the call, and I've been knitting up, as you can see, and I've gotten messages from some of you that have stuff to send, so thank you so much. And then I got something in the mail all the way from Norway, which was so exciting, and I hope it's okay with her that I'm showing this, but I think she'll be okay with it. But so this is from IRYL, who's Nana, and her Ravelry name is IRYL. She sent me this wonderful postcard. Norway. It's, my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law have been to Norway, but I have not. And then she sent me. I love that. And of course, bookmarks. Love bookmarks. Thank you so much. That was so fun to open all this stuff. And then she sent some chocolate, which is in the refrigerator because Texas is hot, and I'm salvaging the chocolate because stuff can. She was very smart, and she put it in a Ziploc bag away from everything else, so that when it inevitably got a little mushy, because I live in Texas, I was able to salvage it, and so it's in the refrigerator. And then she also sent Maom. I don't know. It appears to be like a chewy candy. But my kids have wanted me to show this so they can eat it. And then she sent a whole bunch of little knit things. So some booties. Some more booties. And some little fingerless gloves. And some very squishy socks. These are so soft. And I like the pattern. It looks like a blueberry waffle, maybe. And then she sent 2 little hats. There's the yarn. Beautiful color. This one's like a denim-y blue, and this one's like a sky turquoise blue. So thank you so much, Nana, for the package. It was fun, and I have the envelope somewhere. I meant to bring it over because I love stamps from other countries. I may have a little book that I cut out the stamps and I put them in there to keep because it's just so much fun to see different stamps from other countries. And if you send me something, and it's okay, I would love to be able to show it on the podcast. If you don't want me to show it, then just tell me. But yeah, so thank you. And then time for enabling. This is the last of the Christmas enabling. This is all from my husband. I thought of breaking this up into 2 because it's a lot, but then I was like, I just want it done. I just want it done so I can enter it on my Ravelry page so I can start knitting it up and getting it back to, because like I've told you guys a ton, I like my Ravelry stash. It's all in there to be at 100, and it's right now at 105. So I'm going to try to knit it up before the Dallas-Fort Worth Fiber Festival. So the first things I'll show you is going to be some crinkling. So if you don't like that, I love crinkling. It's excitement to me, but I am like a 5-year-old. Everything's exciting. So if you don't like that, maybe mute it for a second. You can still see the pretties even with it muted. So this was I told my husband that I wanted this, and kind of just because she was having an end of the year sale where it was huge, like 30% off or something. So I kind of told my husband, okay, these are the ones I want. And there, it's open. So this is Unwind Yarn Company. And this is Round Trip Sock in the Sophisticate, which I'm not sure how sophisticated I am, but if those are the colors for it, then yes. But I think those are beautiful. And I don't, there's spots of red and purple and brown and cream. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's a single ply. Might actually make a good pattern like this for around my neck. I was very into single plies. I think all but one of these are single plies. And then there's this one, which is the same base, round trip sock. It's 100% superwash merino, high twist, single, 400 yards. And this is Hints of Spring. It's gonna blare out this, but it's whites with hints of green. It's beautiful. And then I can figure out how to open this. More crinkling. It's almost done. Okay. So this is another round trip sock, and this is the Unruffled. And it's so subtle and just beautiful. You see it? Oh, I love it. That's that one. And then the last one from the 30% off sale. And this is extremely soft. And again, this is Unwind yarn. Oh, and there's a little progress marker. This is Mount Crumpet. And this is Journey Sock, which is a knit for sock, merino nylon. I love what's mostly cream with these hints. I wish I had a fancy, expensive camera, but I don't. But just so you could see this so nicely, but you can kind of see it. It's just, this is very, very soft. And so those are my Unwind ones that I got. And that one I kind of had told my husband, okay, these are what this next one's a surprise. I had no idea, but he did get me from this company last year. So I think he's just getting more because I used it up. So I'll show the yarn first. 2 skeins of yarn, and this is Wren and Ollie. And the label's falling apart because it's been waiting to show you for so long. Let me just take this off because it's really, look at that. It's so beautiful. I love this. And it's got hints of blue and brown and pinks. It's just beautiful. And this is Water Garden, and it is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon, and really good yardage. So, and then the next one is the same base, and this is Coral Cove. So it's these gorgeous blues. It's just beautiful color sense. And I'm excited to knit these up. Look at that. See? It's so pretty. And then the last thing was some more fiber in it from Wren and Ollie. I have, so it's this. And this is in Orange Lagoon. White, blue, and different shades of orange. And this is a center pull bump, so you just take and you pull from the center, and it all pulls out. And I've decided with my fiber that I really need to make sure that I spin it in a timely manner, because I think my other one that's giving me so many problems on the last ounce, and maybe it was because it was in my stash for a year, I'm not sure. I don't have a big fiber stash. I think I only have 20 to 24 braids or bumps or whatever of fiber, but I think that it needs to be knit a lot sooner, or spun a lot sooner than 1 year, just for ease of drafting. But that is all the, oh, it's long. It has all the enabling and everything. I had a lot to show with the wonderful package and the enabling and things, so hope it was fun to see. And then I'm going to talk about the book this week, which is, like I was saying, a short story that we're doing for the read along with Amy of The Knit Theory. And Amy's going to be doing a review, and she does lit stuff, and so I'm sure hers will be very full of wonderful analysis of the story and very full of interesting facts and fun, very interesting facts and different analysis, because she's really good at that. I don't think I'm as good at that kind of thing. I love to research and delve into it, but I think trying to enunciate all that different stuff. I'm just not as good at that. But I wanted to talk about the book a little bit too, or the short story. It is The Murders on la Rue Morgue, and I'm trying to say it correctly with my French, but I'm all tongue twisted today because I'm so excited I was just really excited to podcast today. But this whole story is, I think, one of Poe's earlier ones, and it is basically the story of these two men who meet and become friends through a chance meeting at, I believe, a bookstore. They're both looking for the same volume of a rare, obscure book. And it talks, I love this one sentence in it. It talked about how the guy had enough money to live off of, and he lived very economically and tried to save his pennies on things, but his one luxury was books. Books and yarn, that would be my one luxury. I don't have expensive clothes or other things like that. I don't really care. Books and yarn, that I can agree with him on his one luxury. But they become friends because of this random meeting. And one of the friends is very observant. And my husband often says that I have this weird, I don't know, I hesitate to even say, I don't know if you would call it a full-on photographic memory, but if I see something, I know it and I can remember it. I can pull back into my mind and see the picture of it. Like my husband will be like, oh, what was the gas price on that gas station a mile back? And I can close my eyes and pull back into my mind and see it. Even if I didn't consciously think about it, it just kind of, my mind kind of records that stuff in picture images. So I'm always observing stuff, probably too much. So I'm kind of just always all over the place because I'm observing everything. But the character in this, he's like that too. He observes everything and he thinks very analytically about it. And it starts off where it's talking about chess and another board game called, I meant to research this, but I just didn't have time, Wit. But he compares chess with, the different kind of skill set that you need for that to this other game, and talks about how the one game prepares you for life, and chess, you don't know. It was very interesting to hear him talk about that and kind of set the stage for this story. And these two friends that meet. And so the one friend who guesses what this other friend has been thinking about just by analyzing his actions and what he's been where he's been glancing and all this stuff. And so then it comes upon this time where there's this huge murder that occurs, and it's a sensation in all of Paris, and it's in all the papers. And that part is kind of graphic. I didn't really enjoy listening to that part, the graphic part but it's Poe. Edgar Allan Poe, his stuff is kind of like that. So the friends, the one friend who's very observant is like, the police have made a mistake. This is what really happened. He kind of goes on a search to find out who is really responsible for all this. And it is not anything that you would ever in the million years guess. Only Poe can have the person die by this means. I'd never read this, so I was kind of like, this is Poe? It was very un-Poe-like to me for how I kind of think of him. But I would definitely recommend the story just because, if anything, to find out who killed these two women in the end, because it's just like, really? How does that? It's kind of crazy. But that is all I have for this week. Like I said, the new short story for February will be by Sherlock Holmes, Silver Blazes, and I hope you'll join us and read that. And again, thank you to Brenda for everything she's doing with that. I appreciate it so much. And I think that hopefully next week I'll have the finished spinning and a whole bunch of new casts on from patterns that people have gifted me that I've been wanting to knit, that I'm so excited about. And I think casting on a whole bunch of stuff will get some of that stash out of my 105 and into projects that will have less in my stash on Ravelry, and that will be exciting. But that's everything I have for this week, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week and that you get to do all the things you love. Okay, bye.